All right, guys, we're going to go on and get started on the review sheet. So we're going to start off with questions 1 through 4. So looking at problems 1 through 4, are there any questions over these 4 problems here, or one of those that y'all want to look at in particular?
Like literally every single one.
We're
I was struggling.
we're not doing all of them.
I was struggling. 33.
So 1 through 4. Questions on problems 1, 2, 3, or 4. So we good with naming 3 points? Yes? Yeah, because we're just picking 3 points, M, N, and Z. As long as you don't put letter D or B, because D and B are naming the planes, they're not naming a point. We're good with any of those there. So P, M, N are examples. 2 lines, M, N, A, Z, or Z, A, or M, N, N, M. Any of these here, but again, when we name a line, we have to have the 2 arrows with the line above it. Name plane D. Plane M, N, P. There's just one, or P and M, anything with 3 letters. Questions on 5, 6, or 7? Questions on problems 5, 6, or 7? We feel comfortable with naming lines, rays, and segments. And again, I will count off points if you don't include the symbol. So the line above lines, the ray above rays, and the line segment above the line segment. Okay? And do make sure, especially with rays, that the line, the arrow is on the correct side. So for this here, the endpoint A, B, the side that has the endpoint does not need the arrow. So we good with 5, 6, and 7? Yes? All right, let's look at 8, 9, and 10. Questions on 8, 9, or 10? Question on how to name 3 collinear points or 3 coplanar points. So 3 coplanar points are 3 points that are on the plane. So what are 3 points that are on the plane? B, C. What are others? Okay. Yes. Okay. Any 3 of those. The ones that don't work are D or F, because F is naming the line, D is naming the plane, and A is not on the plane. So the one point that's not coplanar is A. And when we're naming points, we don't have to put any symbols with it because it's just a point. I don't remember, but it's less than the review. Any other questions on 9? So everything on the test is on the review, but not everything on the review is on the test. Questions on 11, naming 2 pairs of opposite rays. We good with naming opposite rays? Questions on 12. Question on how to find AB. We feel comfortable with finding length AB? Because we would subtract it, yes. You're welcome. I do have a few extra. I always print a few more. We good? Okay. If we're good with those 2 there, question on 13. We add them together to find CH. Question on 14. Question on problem number 14. Or do we need to see how 14's worked, or do we feel comfortable with this one? Yeah. Because J is a bisector, so these two segments are going to be the same. Because again, once we find the value of x, we can plug it back in to find the length that it's asking for. So 2x plus 7 is going to equal 4x plus 3. So what we can do is solve for the value of x. Now what we do first, because we could have subtracted 7 first, or we could subtract 3 first. We could have subtracted 2x or 4x first, or adding or subtracting. Because we just need to pick which one we want to do first. So if we subtract 3, these will cancel, giving us 4x by itself. On the other side, we'll have 2x plus 4, because 7 minus 3 is 4. Then we're going to subtract the 2x over, because again, now we need to get x on the other side, so these will cancel, telling us 4 is equal to 2x. By, divide both sides by 2. Which tells us x is equal to 2. Is that what it wanted? Because the instruction said find the length of JK, yes. Because it wanted the length of JK, so we plugged 2 back in for x. So 4 times 2 plus 3. Well, 4 times 2 is, and 8 plus 3 is.
Wait, so how do we know where to plug back in? Oh.
So the instructions will say what we're finding. So we want to find the length from J to K. Well, the length to J from J to K is given to us by 4x plus 3. When we plug it back in, we find out that this is 11. Well, it works out that the other one will also be 11. Questions on this here? And again, I would pay attention to what the question is asking. Because that was asking for J to K. 15 is asking for what? D to G. It's asking for the whole length. We can do the same thing. Because we set the two equal to each other. So x plus 15 equals 6x. We minus x from both sides, telling us 15 is equal to. Divide both sides by. Telling us x is equal to. Now it doesn't matter which one we plug it into, because we could say x plus 15, which would be 3 plus 15, which is. So this segment is. So DG is 36. Questions on this here? If we're good with 15, 16 through 18, find the midpoint. Our midpoint equation. x1 plus x2 divided by 2, comma, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. And I may have written it the other way yesterday, x2 plus x1 divided by 2 and y2 plus y1 divided by 2. It doesn't really matter what the subnotes are. It's really we're adding the two x values together and dividing by 2. We're adding the two y values together and dividing by 2. So is one of these in particular that y'all want to see? Because if not, I'm just going to pick 17. Now 17, what are our two x values? So negative 7 plus 9 over 2. The two y values are 1 and 4. I'm just plugging them in. And at this point, we can plug this into the calculator. The yellow calculator, hit the fraction key, negative 7 plus 9 over 2. Hit enter, and it'll give you the answer. Because it'll tell you that this is 1. 9 minus 7 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is. That's it. And that's it. 1 plus 4 is 5, so we get 5 halves, because that's what the calculator will tell you. Now, we could write this as 1 comma 5 halves, or you can write it as 1 comma 2.5. If you put one of the two numbers as a decimal and the other one turns out as a fraction, put them both as decimals or both as fractions. Okay? So I don't want to have like 1/2, 1/2, comma 2.5. Either put them both as fractions or both as decimals. Now in this case, 1 came out to be a whole number, so you just leave it as 1 because it's neither a fraction. It doesn't have to be written as 1. Does that make sense? Any other questions on this here? (19) and 21. It's using the same formula, but this time they give us the midpoint and an endpoint, and we want to find the other endpoint. I will do 20. We'll look at 20. Now, according to the formula, we add the two endpoints x values together, divide by 2, and we get the x value of the midpoint. Here, they told us what the x value of the midpoint is. It is 3. And they told us one of the endpoints is -2. And again, I would read the directions just to make sure it signifies, because it will tell you in the directions which one's the endpoint, which one's the midpoint. Given one endpoint in midpoint M for line segment CD. So the two endpoints are C and D, because it told us by the line segment. And M is the midpoint. Midpoint, endpoint. Questions on that there? Huh?
I don't understand that.
So we have a line segment that has C and D. So the two endpoints are what? And what's M? So M is the midpoint. C is a endpoint.
Well, how'd you know that?
Because this any point is in the form of So -2 is a x value, but we don't know the other. 7 is the y value, and 6 is the midpoint's y value. So we're just plugging into their corresponding spots. Now at this point here, we're going to solve, and the first step in solving for either one of these is the exact same. We multiply both sides by 2. Because when we multiply the left side by 2, those will cancel, leaving -2 plus x equals. What we do to one side, we have to do to the other. And 3 times 2 is 6. Solve for x. We would. Because this 2 and this 2 cancel out completely. And in the beginning, the starting problem is -2. Yeah, the printer probably didn't print it well enough, but there is a negative right there. Yes, I'm going to try to make the next one a little bit darker. So it's telling us x is equal to 8. We're going to do the same thing with y. The first thing we're going to do is multiply both sides by 2. And when we multiply both sides by 2, these will cancel, telling us that 7 plus y is equal to. Solve for y. We would. Telling us y is equal to. So the point is 85. Questions on this here? So again, this is straight using the formula. Endpoint, midpoint. We plug it into their corresponding spots, and we solve for the other value. Questions on this here? Yes. Now again, distance formula. x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. We're going straight from the formula for these here. Now for 24, you could write it underneath it. I'm going to write it to the side so I still have the formula for y'all to be able to see. We're subtracting the two x values from each other. So what's one of the two x values? -9 minus squared plus the two y values are -2 minus. Type it in exactly as you see it. We don't have to change a thing. The calculator will do it all for us. So let's see here. So when we type this in, clear all that out. So second square root, I'd come look at it. We have parentheses. So we have -9 minus, and then we would hit the fraction key, 9/2, close parentheses squared, plus -2 minus 7, close parentheses squared, and we get this here. The yellow calculators are probably going to leave it in radical form.
That's what I was doing, but I was doing it. It was all that you just did it and did exactly what you were saying.
Yep, it needed those. Yeah, it needed the parentheses. And this ends up being plus. But I would put the negative because the 9 is negative in the problem. So we would need that. Does that make sense? So now on this here, guys, because we know a negative and a negative does make a positive, yes? Calculator doesn't care if you rewrite it as plus or have negative, subtracting the negative. So I could have rewritten this here because the 9/2 is positive. We could have said 9/2 minus -9. The calculator, second square root, parentheses, 9/2 minus -9 squared plus -2, well, we can do it on both sides, 7 minus -2 squared. Yep, but the calculator doesn't care. So if the negative, you feel like that's going to be something that will trip you up, type it in just as you see it. You don't have to change a thing. So any questions on this here with the distance formula? I would make sure you do have the distance formula written down. $25, $26, $27. So 25, is it convex or concave? And it does look like it's paving in, yes? How many sides does it have? 9. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Gone. So not a gun. It's got 9 sides. How about 26?
It's a hexagon.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is a,
That's just considered to be.
and it is convex. And the last one, 27, is concave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. dodeca. Any other questions on 25 through 27? $28, $29, or $30? We feel comfortable with those there. We can do one of them if y'all want. Well, we can do 28. Well, we can name it as angle 1. Since there's only one angle, we can angle B.
And then ABC.
What's one more? Because we can do ABC, CBA, angle 1, angle B. Any of those there? Questions on any of this here? Questions on 31 or 32? 31 or 32? Yes. But I want to look at one of these. If no one needs either one of these, we feel good with these? Yes? Okay. We can look at 33. So these two angles make a straight line, yes? So they add up to be 180. So we're saying that 5x minus 18 plus 3x plus 42 is 180. Non-like terms, so 5x plus 3x is negative 18 plus 42. Well, we know it's going to be plus, yes, because 42 is bigger than 18. And it is 24. And again, you can plug that in a calculator, negative 18 plus 42 or 42 minus 18. Either one will get us to 24. Question?
No, I don't know.
Because those two there?
How'd you get 8?
Mm-hmm. Any other question? No? You're good? Because at this point here, we can subtract 24 from both sides, leaving 8x by itself, because these will become 0. And 180 minus 24 is going to be 156. So we can do 180 minus 24, and we get 156. And last but not least, we both sides by 8. And x is equal to 19 point what? 5. So the answers don't have to come out to be whole numbers. And that's not the answer because it asks for what? AHK. So AHK is this here, so we would say 3 times 19.5 plus 42. And all we have to do is put it in the calculator. If we multiplied it by 3, so we'd have 5, carry the 1, 27, 8, 2, 58.5, yes? Plus 42 is going to be 0.50. I think the answer that he gave is 100.5. AHK would be 0.5, so 1, 9 gives us 79.5 is the other one. Now again, just because the picture doesn't look like it doesn't mean it's not true. Because does that angle in the picture look like it's 100 degrees? No, because straight up and down is 90. And again, a lot of the problems on the test, I created the problem, so I created the picture, then put the problem in, so it doesn't always match up to the picture. So focus more on what it's actually doing, not the picture itself. And this is 91 degrees, not 9.1. So what do we know? Those two angles add together to be what? 91. So this is the exact same as the last one, just instead of it equaling 180, it equals 91. And if you do have questions on what the number is, ask. I will clarify. Ask. I will clarify. Now the first thing we need to do is combine like terms. So 3x plus 2x is 5x. 4 plus negative 3, or 4 minus 3, is going to be 1. Then what would we do? Telling us that 5x is equal to, and last but not least, we will divide both sides by 5. Telling us x is equal to 18, because did you divide, was it 92 that you divided by 5 with? Mm-hmm. What part? What part?
No, nothing. I thought you were talking.
So we would subtract 1 to get 90, because our 4 and negative 3, 4 plus negative 3 gives us 1. 4 minus 3. Yep. Okay. Good. If you need an extra one, I got one. We can do 2 times 18 minus 3. Well, 2 times 18 is 36. 36 minus 3 is 33. And we plug that in for our 2. So DBC is 33. For the other one, 3 times 18 plus 4. Well, 3 times 18, 3 times 8 is 4, carry the 2, so 54 plus 58. And 58 and 33 do add together to be 91, like it told us. Yes? Questions on this here? Yes?
Do you have to show your work if you already know one side, or could you just subtract?
You can subtract and do that. Because again, on this one here, I'd give you a point for doing your work. I give you a point for X. I give you a point for each angle. So we're looking at 4 points for this here. It will tell us. If the problem says that it is a bisector, then it's a bisector. Because it will say line or ray AB is a bisector of the angle. The review sheet, yes. Did y'all do it? Raise your hand if you didn't. If you didn't do it, did you do any of it? Okay, you guys got a grade for it. Because again, the review sheet's for your benefit, yes? So I gave you a grade for it. I'm not going to collect them. Because again, if you do it all, it's going to help you more. If you don't do it all, it's not going to help you. Because again, it's only to help you. Questions on 35? We good with 35? And yes, some of the angles listed there are more than once, if you noticed.
I was wondering, like, I was doing it last night, and I was like, why is it like that?
Do that on the test.
I think there might be one that does that on the test. Because MNP is the whole angle. It just told me it's 90. And then we could go through and solve it from there. So we good with this one here? Questions on 36 or 37? So name 2 pairs of vertical angles.
Would 3 and 9 be one? I did one. I don't know.
3 and 9, 4 and 2, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, if there was a ray kind of going the opposite of this one, a line, then it would work. 7 and 6.
Whatever, Dan.
And that's it. It asked for 2. As long as you gave me 2 of those 3, you got them. Name 2 pairs of linear pairs. Yes, because they just have to make a straight line. 5 and 7.
How is 5?
So they have to equal 180.
Yes.
Is it because of that line there in between 3 and 9 that it's not like one of them? Because
Yes.
1.
5 and 8 are 1, but I
because
wouldn't.
that thing right there, the other line to right.
I don't have one connecting off of this.
There can't be any right? So 4 and 1 wouldn't be 1.
4 and 1 wouldn't because 3's in the middle. But we could also say 5 and 6. 5 and 6. As if 2,
It's like they share vertices, but
they share a common vertex inside, no common interior angles,
Okay.
and they make a straight line. Really, if 2 lines intersect, any of the 2 angles that are next to each other will work. 5 and 6, 6 and 8, 7 and 8. 2 and 9, yes. 6 and yes, 7 and 5 work. 4 and 9 would work. 4 and 3 would not because they don't make a straight line. 2 and 9 would work. 4 and 9 would work. 2 angles that make a straight line. That's it. If they make a straight line and it is 2 angles, that's all it is. 2 angles, straight line. Any other questions on these 2 here? 38 and 39. 38 is what? Yep, because what's supplement? Supplement is 180.
180 minus 45 is.
Yes. Yes. Because 3 and 5 add together to be 180 because they're supplement. So we can subtract 41 from 180 because they add together, which is going to tell us it is. Yep. Okay, but I would make sure to go back and rewatch or finish this, especially if you have any questions. Measure of angle 3 is 139. Yes. Complement is what?
98, that's 4 equals 64.
Because we can subtract 26 from 90. 4, because that'd be, or 64, sorry. So angle 6, measure of angle 6 is?
Do we have to put the M? Is the M optional?
M is just saying measure.
So
I would like you to put the M. Questions on this here? We good with this? Questions about this here? So QS, it says right there, QS is an angle bisector, so it cuts it in what? So what did it tell us? PQR, the whole thing is what?
So literally all you have to do is just like cut 122. Oh my gosh.
Which is?
I was struggling so hard in that one.
So SQR is PQS. So again, make sure it's which angle is specifying. Yes.
Can you go back and show me how you got
Complement.
2 angles are complement angles if they are 90. Supplement
180.
is 180. Complement is 90, supplement is 180. And again, I would find some way that you can keep those straight. I would find some way to keep those straight.
I was literally like taking the
If you want to just write 90 and 180 over the top of them.
no
This
things
one?
from 'em.
Okay, so are we good with 40?
I was taking like the
Yes. That's fine. So, questions on 41. We feel good with 41, guys, up here? So SQR is 47, PQS is, and 47 plus 47. I'll get a, because again, 47 and 47, angle bisector cuts the angle in half, so the two segments are going to be the same. Questions on this here? Question? What do we know about this here? They're bisected, they're cut in. So these two will be the,
So if we get one of them, we can just write the
so 9x plus 37 is equal to, set them equal to each other, solve for the value of x, and then plug it back in. So what can we do first?
minus 37.
We minus 37 from both sides. So that tells us that 9x is equal to 21x minus minus 36. Then what can we do next? Minus 21x. Now that will leave us with negative 36 on the right-hand side. The other side is going to be negative 12x. Now at this point here, we can divide both sides by negative 12. Plug it back in. Nine times 3 is 27. 27 plus 37 is 64. Now what is it asking for? PQS. So SQR, one of the parts, which we found is PQR. The whole thing, well, this is 67, this is 67. 100. 64, sorry. I spaced out apparently for a second and wrote 67. So it should be 64 and 64, yes, which would make it 120. Yes, no. I, for some reason, added 3. So, yep. Questions on this here? We're ready for the next one. This here? So classify the measure, classify the angle, and name it. So we want to find the angle measure in XP. In XP. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. In XP is 70 degrees, and it is, you'll need both, because we need the measure and the type. Acute, obtuse, right. Questions on 43 or 45? We good with those there? Do we need to see another one? Questions on 46? It's not on the test. Neither is 47 or 48 or 49 or 50. None of them are there. I'm not asking for that, no. It takes, because again, I time these out so you can do it in a class period, and those were just too much of a time. I didn't want y'all to worry about those there. We have questions on 51. I think this is the last one, isn't it? What's it asking? What's this problem asking? So angle LPM, angle LP, angle MPL, exactly angle MPN, angle NPL, and angle NPM. Name all. So and again, with naming these, I would just start at one of the points. So L, name both, then go to M, name all of them from there, and just do each one individually. So pick one to start with and name the rest. Yep. Yeah, it looks like a W, but and that's it. So that's everything on the test. So there's 6 on that one.